Oh, I cannot stop in this area right here. This is bad if I stop. Oh, this thing's throwing a rod. I think it just seized up. Hey guys, what's going on? So today I picked myself up a 1997 Buick Century here, and we're towing it back right now from basically central, if not western Pennsylvania, all the way up to upstate New York. So we've got a long drive in front of us, but this is a 97 Buick with 47,000 miles. And Ivan from Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics actually worked on this very car. It's actually in a video. I believe the motor is probably bad in this car, so we're gonna end up putting another motor in it, but that's all besides the point. That's later down the road. First we got to get this thing home. So if you guys did not see the video of the Chevrolet Suburban towing this car and the Chevrolet Suburban making it, hopefully, fingers crossed, it makes it. I mean, unless this video is going to turn pretty bad. Let's finger cross and pray that it doesn't. But yeah, it's in pretty decent shape, guys. It needs some work. I mean, here and there, it's got a Bondo on the fender here, and the fender's a little wavy, so it needs some work. But hey, at the end of the day, the value is there. It's a nice, clean car from Pennsylvania, up in upstate. You do not find cars that look like this. So I'm pretty happy with my purchase. I got it for pretty cheap. I'll tell you guys all the details when we get back. So that will be the continuation of this video unless something else happens. Let's hope not. And all right, you guys, stay tuned. We're about to head back. So the Buick has made it home in one piece, luckily. And so we're gonna go over this thing just a little bit, just take you guys on a quick look around this thing, on the interior as well as the exterior, and talk about the problems that it has and why it ended up in my hands. So the body leaves a bit to be desired. With 47,000 miles, this thing's pretty beat up. I have cars that have triple the mileage. They're in better cosmetic shape on the exterior than this, but I was warned about that before I even bought the car, and I was okay with it, and I'm still okay with it. There are a few things I'm going to fix on this car to make it better, period. Like this taillight assembly. This is cracked. Gonna end up replacing this. I already got a parts car, I think, lined up for that. Let's see here. This is probably the straightest side of the car right here up until the passenger front fender. And guys, I'd love to replace this fender. Problem is that, excuse me, you can't really find these fenders around anymore, especially not in this color. Buick Centuries are getting more and more rare in the upstate New York area, and on top of that, in this color. So basically going to be impossible to find a fender for this thing. I'm going to try to pop out these dents here and just make it a little bit better. This will probably buff out here. So will this, I hope. The Bondo is like really thick through this section. I don't know why they would have ever made the Bondo that thick. It's got a little rust going on right there, but that's because somebody did not cover up the paint chip. This headlight has getting a little foggy there. It's got a little bit of moisture in it. This hood's already popped. This is probably some of the worst cosmetic damage of the entire car is in this corner here, with this hood being the way it is. And like I said, well, it's the same thing as a fender. I can't really find hoods for this thing, at least that are in this color. And I would really rather just keep it the same color, even though it's a little beat up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interior before I pop the hood open for you guys and talk about the issues with this thing. Tire tread is really good. Let's see here. So I don't know if I already disclosed how much I paid for this thing. I paid $700 for this 1997 Buick Century. And that seems like quite a bit, but honestly, guys, with 47,000 miles and the kind of condition overall the car's in, I think it's pretty fair. I could still make a profit off of this car pretty easily if I decided to just put a motor in and drivetrain and sell it. But guys, my idea is to daily drive this thing. And this interior, where I'm going to be most of the time when I'm doing anything with this car, is in really good shape. It smells like old people, as you would expect. It's a nice blue color. It's a very nice blue. It's only got 2 cup holders in it, but that's okay. I'll probably try to work around that. But yeah, everything's in really good shape, as you would expect for 47,000 miles. It's in awesome shape back here. And the trunk's in really good shape. I'll show you guys that. Just everything in the interior was well kept. Let's go ahead and try to pop this trunk. I know this key's kind of iffy. See if it'll work today. I know the other key works. I have 2 sets of keys. Yeah, it's just not going to work with this key. I'm not sure why the other key works, but go ahead and pop it like that. And let's go ahead and take a look here. I already started to take apart the underneath the hood, so I put this back here. I got the original net, which you see actually surprisingly commonly still with even higher mileage W bodies. You'll still see the net inside, and that right there you don't see every day. That's actually the original toolkit to this car. I'm sure it was an option. It says Century by Buick on it, and it's almost like a laptop bag, but unfortunately it has none of the tools in it anymore. But it's really cool to see that. That's just something you don't see every day at all. So, and there's the RPO codes on the trunk. I'll end up going over those. But this car is so base, it doesn't even have cruise control, which we will be switching that, by the way. This car will end up having cruise control. I guarantee that. I love cruise control, and I cannot go without it. That is literally a deal breaker for me. But that's okay, because we do a lot with these GMs. We know how to program them, and luckily they already ran the wiring harness. This is the wiring connector for the cruise control. So this thing pretty much should be a plug and play as long as I change the column stalk there, and hopefully the wiring's already over there, so it's going to be almost a plug and play. But that's probably going to be the easiest part of what's got to happen with this car. This car is actually already featured on YouTube before I actually featured on YouTube. And that channel is Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics, because this car was having an issue. And I will tell you guys right now, it does run, but if you guys go watch that video, and I'll put a link in the description, a suggestion hopefully in the right hand corner, right upper hand corner, it does not run well. And you guys should really go watch this video real quick and just get a little update or bring yourself up to speed about what's going on with this car. But basically, if you don't go watch the video, you guys will know it does not run correctly. And I believe, as well as Ivan, that this thing probably does have a broken camshaft in it. But guess what? We're going to find out, and I don't think it will be this video, but we're going to find out exactly what's going on with this car. And I believe it to be a broken camshaft, but I am going to run it in this video. So, because I got to get it to the backyard, and I think what I'm going to do is just drive the damn thing down there. So, as much as I don't want to, with this thing making 0 oil pressure, it is what it is. I gotta get it down there, and there's no real good way of getting it down there other than driving it. So, alrighty guys, let's go ahead and get this thing down there. There's not much else to say about the motor. It's just an old 3100 from 1997, so it's a pretty unique setup as far as computer and everything goes. So, unfortunately, it's different from 98, so I'm gonna have to figure out how that is gonna turn out. But should be an interesting process. I hope you guys stay tuned, but let's go ahead and get this thing off the trailer. Alright, she's off the trailer. Oh boy, that was an experience. Anyway, she's off. I'm glad that she's off, but now we can get now you guys can get a little bit better of a look at the interior here, or at least as far as the front goes. And, you guys can see the mileage here. I'll go ahead and put the key in the ignition and show you guys the mileage. There it is, 47,000. Alrighty guys, so we're gonna start this thing up, and I don't want to waste any time. As soon as this thing starts, I want to get going. So I'm going to try to set you guys up on the dash or whatever until I can grab the camera. But I think that's going to have to be good enough for now, somewhere around there. This thing runs, I assume, terrible. Let's see. Oh, man. She doesn't even want to run. Oh, wow. Exactly like the video. Oh my God. That's full. That's to the floor, guys. That's to the floor. Oh, here we go. We're moving. Here we go. She's floored, guys. She's floored. Oil light is on, just like the video. Oh, that's completely floored. That is completely floored. I am hard into the carpet. Come on, baby. Oh, I cannot stop in this area right here. This is bad if I stop. Oh, this thing's throwing a rod. I think it just seized up. I swear it just seized up. Oh! Oh no, guys, she's not gonna start. No way. Yep, I think she might be done, guys. Oh yeah, battery's starting to die too. Yep, battery's dead. Darn it. Well, we made it this far, guys. This is like the most terrible area to be stuck in too. Shoot. That thing runs terrible. As I knew it would. I mean, shoot, it was in the video that it ran terrible. But I was hoping I'd make it a little bit further than this. Because this is the worst area I could stop. This is literally the most soppy, wet part of the yard. You guys can see all the wetness on the tires there. And the grooves in the ground. But that's as far as she wanted to get. Right now, I'm going to have to do something with this battery. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do at this point. I'm probably going to have to go in and bring it in and charge it. And hope that this thing isn't completely blown up now. It probably is. I don't see too many metal chunks on the oil cap there. Go ahead and take a look at this oil. Oh yeah, it's full of... Yeah, you can tell there's a lot of chunky metal in that oil. You can tell she's not building oil pressure. Wow. Oof, 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 oof. Shoot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was sounding like it was going to lock up. We'll go ahead and check this transmission fluid. I've never checked transmission fluid. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, that's good. I didn't smell it though. Let's smell it. Yeah, it smells okay. We're not going to give it the taste test today, but... shoot. Well, I'm going to have to figure something out. Alrighty, guys, so we got her to the spot in which we're going to be doing the engine change. As far as we know, at least, at the very least, a diagnosis. So, yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I mean, I didn't run it again. I pulled it over here with my Suburban and just went through here. Had to move the excavator that we have in order to do it, but it wasn't too big of an issue. It moved very easily, so luckily it's over here now. But yeah, I had to take the battery out because it died, as you guys just saw in the previous clip. So it's actually been 2 days. So yeah, let's get to tearing this thing down and get this motor out. But I'm probably gonna separate this into parts. It's gonna be way too long of a video if I leave it in just the one part. But this car had majority of the miles that are on it put in the 90s. That's right. Majority of the miles that are on this car were put on in the 90s. So this car really has not driven that far since basically 2000. So it's almost been sitting 23 years without regularly being used. So that's pretty insane. Now, going based off that, there are some keys and clues I can tell you that this motor's been torn into before. One is this blue stuff over here. I believe that to be RTV. It's all over this pipe here. So I don't know whether they did valve cover gaskets on this thing or not. It almost looks like they did based off the RTV right there. That does not look like a factory RTV mark to me. I think the intake's actually been off before because there's evidence and rust on the corners of the bolts. Not 100% sure on that, but I think it's probably likely. And also, this coil pack, I believe, has been changed. You'll see the font is different on this coil pack right here. That or 3 and 6 and 1 and 4 have been replaced, but I'm pretty sure that's the original font, and this is not. So this thing's been torn into at least once. So this thing's had issues before. So I don't know. Do not know. This motor could have been a lemon from day one. Who knows? So, all right, let's start tearing into it and see what the heck is going on with this motor. All right, so I'm back. Only about an hour later. I got quite a bit of this torn apart. It took me some time to get tools together, obviously, and I wanted to spin the motor over with the valve cover off. So I pulled all the spark plugs out of the engine because this crank bolt is actually pretty well on the way to being stripped. I don't know why that is, but it is. So somebody's been there before. And who knows, this motor might have already had major work done to it. I don't know. But what I do know is that we do have either a camshaft or a very stretched timing chain. Either way, this motor is pretty much done for, because I started, oops, my magnet, I hit my head on my magnet here. My nice, you guys like that? My nice magnet there. But yeah, I ended up, only one I saw moving out of all the rocker arms was this one right here on number 2, on the second cylinder. I didn't even see, I don't know whether that's intake or exhaust. I can't remember which one's which. Some people probably end up telling me in the comments, but either way, I'll know by time I upload this video either way. But this one is not moving. This one is, and this is the only one I saw moving. This one's got a, I mean, you can see how loose that is. I don't know whether that's just the nature of these, but I really don't think so. I'm pretty sure it might be a bent push rod down in there. Push rod probably is bent, and I saw none of these moving. So yeah, I'm gonna call it there. That's either a broken camshaft or a really bad timing chain, but I would bet it would be a broken camshaft. So shout out to Ivan from Pine Hollow. He got it right, I think. We'll know for sure once I get this thing all torn apart, but that's after this motor's going to end up coming out of here. But I'm telling you guys right now, I am pretty sure that this thing has a broken timing or a broken camshaft. So yep, yeah, as we kind of suspected. That's going to be the issue more than likely. So I'm going to go ahead and keep tearing this thing apart. I'm going to get all this. Okay guys, so I got the corner all torn apart here. Got the coolant overflow box out and the air filter box and the air intake tube out. I took the the coolant overflow box out because it just needs to be cleaned, and I'd rather do it outside of the car rather than inside the car because it's just going to be a lot easier to do it that way. Basically, overall, not too bad. I did slap the valve cover on there because I don't want anything falling into the engine as far as, you know, just random crap just falling back in. I'm going to slide that back in a little bit just because I don't want anything getting in there, even though I know this motor's more than likely just completely junk. There's still a lot of good parts in this thing, so I'd rather save it for parts rather than anything. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's about it for this one, guys. I mean, there's not much more to do as far as this video goes. We came to the diagnosis, essentially, and yeah, it was not a good diagnosis, but it's the one we expected. So, good job, Ivan, once again. He got that figured out. The coil packs and all that are going to go, probably. I'll end up pulling that all off because they're going to end up coming off anyway once we get the motor out, because I want to save all that stuff. So we're going to end up stripping this motor pretty well and dry. Part partly inside, well, it's still in here in the motor bay, and when it's outside on the engine stand. So that's pretty much it. I think part 2 will be more stripping of the engine compartment, about being ready to pull. I might do some off camera just because, you know, it's just simple stuff, just being able to, you know, unplug sensors like the EGR here, and let me see if I can unplug that real quick. See, there's just one, and then you got the you know, stuff like that. I mean, it's unplugging stuff, and that stuff isn't really super entertaining. So I'll get that all done, and we should be good to go right ahead and pull this motor out. I got to find a toner motor still, but that shouldn't be too hard to do. These are pretty common motors, and the hardest part about it is trying to get a 97 drivetrain. More than likely we're not going to be able to do so. So we might end up having to change out the computer and having to change a few things underneath the hood here. So I don't know how that's going to turn out yet, but we'll get it figured out. We are pretty good with the electronics around here as far as GM cars go of the late 90s, early 2000s. So. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for part 2. It should be a good little video there. I think you guys will enjoy it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye bye, everybody.